All right, welcome to Inside the Huddle. I'm your host, Tom Brown, and I'm here today with Coach Derick Heflin. How you doing, Coach?
Good, good, good.
Hey, so before we get going talking about Bulldog football, this is kind of our little way of doing these things. What was the team meal tonight? Who
Uh,
helped you out?
we had Alex's tonight, and that's one of the best pizza places in town. It's always when I was not living in Raleigh, when I'd always come home, Alex's was always one of those places you'd hit up. So it was good to have Alex's and saw him donating the water. So good night, everybody. Stayed hydrated and went home full. So it was a good night.
All right, always great to have that. Good, great community, always out there supporting the program. Love to have that. All right, so man, frustrating Friday night.
Yes.
Before we talk about the game itself, man, it's kind of odd. We had the weather was coming in. We weren't sure the timing of it. And then in the fourth quarter, I think it was like the 10-minute mark, all of a sudden, boom, got a lightning delay.
Yeah.
And it really kind of seemed, well, I was there, and it seemed like there was a glow in the background. It didn't really seem like there was the lightning strikes within a certain miles. Again, that's just I'm not a meteorologist or anything. But yeah.
All that in yes. Well, there were some flashes, and it did look further off. And then when we came back out, the skies it looked like the 4th of July.
Yeah.
But
and we played for 3 minutes.
Yes. But and I went over to Emma, and there is an app on the phone, and it tells the trainers when the light is or lightning's in a certain radius. So even though it wasn't, to the normal human eye, it looks one way. On their phones, they're doing what's best for the kids and keeping things safe. And so, yeah, it was a very interesting. I've never had a football game in the way that did. It was very interesting. I guess is a good way to put the way everything went down. But we offered to stay as late as we needed to stay. We offered to come back the next morning, and Festus just made the decision that it was, and they thought in the best interest to end the game, which. If you're winning 20-6 with us with the ball and all the momentum, it's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. That was the cynic in us from the stands were like, oh, hey, we had some kids cramping, and they had a kid cramp who's their all-state player. And next thing you know, then the lightning delay happened, which we know that's not how it is, and it's great to know about the app with the lightning strikes because again, as fans, we have a tendency to kind of obviously go to the other side.
Yeah, no, they followed protocol as far as. Their trainer followed the protocol as the way the game ended. There's been some discrepancies in the way the policy was followed. So we're looking into some of those things. But now we know next time to make sure that if there's going to be inclement weather, either move the game up or just postpone the next day. There were several schools that did that, but I think there were MICDS and Hillsborough. I know we're in a very similar situation. I think Potosi and St. Clair were the same situation. I think North County and Farmington were all of us didn't get to finish our games, different scores, different whatever, but it was a very interesting first week in the state of Missouri for Friday night football for sure.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about the game. Was it ended up being a 20-6 loss? It's one of those where I know it had to be frustrating with what you were seeing on the field, not having the offensive move, especially with what we'd been seeing from the boys. But defensively, it was 13-0 until that fourth quarter, and we came back from the delay, and then they were able to score like in 2 or 3 plays.
Yeah.
And it seemed our defense, man, they're hanging in there. They're keeping us in that spot to go, and that was a tough offense. I mean, that was a tough physical offense.
Our defense played really well. That was what I told the guys. There was things obviously we need to clean up. We gave up I think the quarterback had a 45 or 55-yard run to score the second touchdown, and we didn't have our cutback and our pursuit lanes the way we needed to be. But for the most part, we were where we needed to be, doing what we needed to do, and I thought we were way ahead of where we were last year at any point Friday night, and that was a team we talked about last week that was average 48 points a game last year, and you get on the Post-Dispatch or whatever on Twitter, and they're in the top 10, top 5 in the St. Louis side of Class 4 everywhere you see it. So that was a really, really, really good football team, and defensively we held them and did some really good things, and I think we have a lot to build off of. And that first quarter, we come out and turn the ball over on our first offensive play, and I think we were on the field for 11 of the 12 minutes in the first quarter, and those and it wasn't necessarily as hot as it had been, but there's definitely humidity, and it was tough. And those kids fought and competed, and they definitely kept us in the game. all the way through. You know, we forced some turnovers, made some big plays. You know, we had some opportunities to where we almost could have scored to get us into even closer into the game. And those guys fought and competed the whole time, and I was really, really proud of their effort and their execution.
Yeah, you talk about their quarterback that had the big run. He ended up with 120 yards rushing, I think over 120 yards rushing. He was one of the so he ran with some power, a little bit elusive too, but his patience with the ball. He was one of the best quarterbacks I see to sit on that, and he would actually show that ball out in front of the running back to lock in.
Yeah.
And our people had no idea. Then he would pull it, and then he had that one where he had that nice little pass.
Yeah, that got us. That was a big one when they got that play action pass. But no, he did a good job running. You know, I think they were reading our linebackers and maybe our safeties, or there was something they were reading there. It definitely wasn't the defensive lineman, but our guys did a really good job fending and containing the over. He had 120 yards, but almost half of those were on one run. So, you know, for the most part, and he was kind of their bell cow. We did a good job, you know, and he was an athlete, and we knew we were going to have to contain him. But, you know, he made some plays there, but he's a good athlete. Sometimes you got to tip your hat to those guys. And he's going to be, I would say 20 points might be the least they score for a long time down the road.
Yeah, definitely. They had the big running back. They had the other running back in there that was tough. They had a great change of pace. Yeah. That linebacker was a load to bring down. Yeah. When he got moving, and he ran with the same way he played defense. Yeah. Man, it was with just this ferocity where he was just going after people. Yeah, that's tough. And again, with the size, he's a big linebacker.
Yeah, no, he was big. You know, yeah, we talk about it. He did a great job playing linebacker, but he ran the ball really hard, and I thought we did a really good job of tackling and gang tackling and getting a bunch of guys the ball. You know, like I said, you know, we gave up one or two big plays, and other than that, for the most part, you know, the first drive they had the ball for whatever 11 minutes when you put it together, and I mean it was just 3 yards here, and we had chances. You know, they were just kind of nickel and dime us, and then we'd get them in a long situation and they'd make a play. And it was just one of those things where we got to execute a little better to get off the field. But, you know, like I said, where we were Friday night compared to any point where we were last year defensively, it was night and day. And I was really proud of those guys for their effort and how they handled themselves, and they executed the game plan extremely well.
Yeah, they had to work for everything they got. I said a couple of those big plays that happened, but everything else they just had to work for, and that was, I think, like you said, it was a great thing. So offensively, had a little bit of a struggle. You know, just nothing really seemed to go. They defensively did a great job. Yeah. They were a very physical defensive team. Their line was physical. They flowed well with the ball, but they also stayed home. So, you know, it was a tough combination out there. The one big lightning strike that showed up was CP on his, was a 63-yard catch and run for a touchdown, which for a lone score. But, yeah, it was, they were tough defense. I know there's a lot of things you're probably going to have to make some adjustments on or figure out an execution, whatever it is. Maybe it's just, you know, how they approach things.
Well, you know, it was one of those things where we had talked about, you know, being more physical and having a sense of identity of what we're doing. And, you know, they came out and punched us in the mouth, and, you know, we just never could get our footing there. And then we kind of got into the situation where they did a really good job playing the option. And then once we started getting on the edge, then they started flowing there harder. And it seemed like we had a couple big tosses or sweeps, and then we started getting holding penalties. And then we went to the passing game, and they were able to just man us up and then still create pressure, and that caused some issues. Then we tried to get in some formations, and we were able to try and create some things. And, you know, and as the season goes on, you know, it's week one. So obviously, you know, you go out week one with a plan, do things, and, you know, as the season evolves, each week we build and add and do things each week that are going to help us be successful when we get to week 10, when the playoffs and the districts come around. And, you know, that's kind of what we'll do. We go back to the drawing board and, you know, add some wrinkles here, add some things there, just kind of develop the offense along the way. And, you know, it's a plan for as we go each week, put in things to get us there. So, you know, if we get in a situation again where we're outmatched, you know, in the run game and we have to do some things, we now have some answers to that week one, usually, you know, it's tough to have everything in and ready to go week one. And I think now we've got a package and some answers that if something like that happens again, we'll be ready to go.
Good. Yeah, that's one of the things. Anything it's flexing, it's making those adjustments. But like you said, week one, hard to get everything because you're just trying to get ready for week one.
Yeah.
Not for everything to get thrown at you. And we're in a new conference.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to get your film. You can't bet where before it's like all the coaching staff, when changes
Yeah.
are happening.
Yeah, no, and that's like we talked about last week. That's the first time Rollins ever played Festus. So it's and I don't know the last time Rollo or if Rollins ever gone to Jefferson County to play a football game. So it was a new environment, new things there, and like I said, and you're limited to you only get so many contact days in the summer. You only get so many hours once you get to the season of what you can do. So you're very very limited in what you can do. So you're only going to have certain things in, and I'm there's some things we've addressed and fixed as we went on, but it was a good measuring stick. You play a top 10 team in the state to start the season, and I think defensively we played really well. Offensively we had moments, and there's stuff to build on, and I think going forward it's good. We got lots of positives and things that we can work on and build, and moving forward and we'll be all right.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited for what's coming up. So before we get talking about this next week's game with Hillcrest, I'd like to recognize one of the big lots, big dog of the week, man. So add in a special sponsor. Big Lots is jumping on to the sponsorship, and so this week's big dog is
Jack Morozovich. He led us in tackles. He had 14 tackles. He had a big pick. You talked about they hit that play action pass. The next play he comes back, makes the interception, and then I guess last play the defense played. Michael Hammer and Chase Brown hit the quarterback, caused a fumble, and Jack falls on it and recovers it. So 14 tackles and interception and a fumble recovery is a pretty good night.
pretty good night for the junior at safety. Now if we can just let his hair grow out so we can get rid of the blondie highlights, man, little surfer boy. But we know that baseball team did a commitment with that in the spring. I just still can't believe it hasn't grown out yet. But no, that was a great effort. Yeah, from him all night. Again, coming up, making plays on that the big linebacker when he was running the ball to the big running back too. You saw Jack come up, get some of those tackles. So yeah, big night for him. Just congratulations, Nike Big Lots for coming on board and helping us out. As we look at some of our other sponsors that we have, as I said, we got Big Lots on there. They're going to be sponsoring the Big Dog of the Week each of the week for the football season. So we'll do that each week. We also have In Full Bloom. They do all the party decor, balloon decor, backdrop rentals. You see them at the senior sightings. You saw them at the first day of school.
They do our football banquet. Yeah, they do a really good job.
They do a great job. So you got to have that. Anything, make sure you're on there. We also have Juan Skills Academy. Kobe Wands, All-State Bulldog. Does a lot of basketball skill training. Does a great job. Spent a lot of time with Ethan. So we appreciate everything Kobe's done as an alum. So now let's go. Let's start talking about this week's ball game against Hillcrest. They're 1-0.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the last time they started 1-0, but I'm sure it hasn't been that long ago.
Yeah.
Former Ozark Conference rival. Now they're just playing down in the.
They're in the Ozark Mountain.
Ozark
the new.
yeah. Rogersville and all them.
Yeah.
So they beat. So they were 2-9 last season. Got their first win this season against Springfield Central. Springfield Central was 2-8 last year.
Yeah.
And their 2 wins came against some smaller schools.
Yes.
I think one of them was winless the entire season. It was a 2-game win, and I think they're like Class 2 schools. So but Hillcrest put up 30 points on Springfield Central. So what's your thought about Hillcrest?
I think they're improved. I thought last year, watching them throughout the season, and I think we played in week 5 last year. They improved each week as we played them, or when I saw them on film, and they were way better in person last year than I had than the film showed. They've got a quarterback back that I think is at least a 3-year starter that can do some things, and they've got a few weapons and some things. I think Festus is going to prepare us really well for getting ready to play them. They were able to connect on some big plays Friday night against Central and do some things. So we've got to make sure we can contain their athletes and go out and execute our game plan, and then offensively execute our game plan the way we need to, like we'd seen all the way up to Friday. And those brief moments that we had Friday, I think we had some stuff we can build on that'll lead us to be more successful this week. But they're a solid team, and if we can't take them lightly for sure. We're just focused on us and getting better. And with Labor Day week, it's kind of an awkward week because Festus, we end up having to play our JV and freshman game on Tuesday, so we had to get it more, and we found that out, I guess, Sunday. There was some miscommunications from the Festus end with all that stuff, but so it kind of put us in a new interesting spot because before we always played on Monday. It's kind of changed our week up, but I think our guys did a good job adjusting. We were able to come up with a solid game plan. I think we're going to be able to be in a situation to be successful for sure tomorrow night.
That's great. Yeah, looking at like I said, the big plays they had 3 big plays and that made up well over half of their passing yards. A 50-yard pass, had a 46-yard touchdown pass, a 50-yard touchdown pass, and then they ran a screen pass. I assume to the running back, like a 49-yard screen pass that set up a score.
It's the first score, yes.
Yeah. So that's being able to do the screen pass and some of the other ones, like you said, got to watch those athletes. So yeah, we're excited about coming down there. It's gonna be 7 p.m. tomorrow night.
Yes.
I'll be filming it, streaming on Inside the Huddle on Facebook, so it'll be there. We'll send out another signal just in case. I know there might be some weather going on tomorrow night, so got to make sure I'm inside. Don't want any lightning delays happening there too. Cause my hair to get any whiter than it is. Yeah, so come on out if you make it on down 7 p.m. Down Springfield at Hillcrest. Should be a good game. It's a chance to come back to those foes. We defeated them last year, 41-14.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we spotted them the 14 points too. Yeah, we came out and we didn't come out ready to go. I think it was homecoming, and then turned it on and scored 41 unanswered points. So I think we're going to be a lot more locked in, ready to go. Being week 2, you get the week 1 jitters out. And like I said, I think we had a good week of practice, even though it was thrown off with everything and all that stuff. But our guys are dialed in, and they're ready to get after it and get the first win of the season for sure.
All right, so one final question before we go. Who on your staff would be clocking the fastest 40 time? I think I have an idea on this, but I'm not.
I think it comes down to really 2 guys, and I think Coach Satula, being younger than Coach Corbett, I give the edge to the Raleigh High all-time leading rusher. But Coach Corbett he's got those long legs, so at some point maybe we can get him out there and race. I don't know. I don't want anybody pulling a hamstring or anything like that, make him have to do more work than she already has. But I would put my money on Andy, but there's a chance Coach Corbett with those long legs, and he's a track coach. He maybe could get him. And he played at S&T too, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking you would go with Satula. That's who I was thinking of again, mainly because he's a little bit younger than Corbett. But man, like I said, Coach Corbett has his legs. I think that could be an episode Inside the Huddle. I think we should make it happen.
We can. We'll have that conversation Sunday when we meet. See what we can get worked out. See where those guys are at. They might need a couple weeks to stretch, prepare. I know if me and Coach Shukart went out there and tried to do it, there would be, I don't know if either one of us can go 40 yards, and I'd definitely be some pulled hamstrings.
So that might not be that might be like we could have like the JV match, and then we could have like the varsity match.
No, I'm too old for that, man. I'm good.
Oh, all right. So, Coach Heflin, good luck tomorrow night.
Appreciate it.
Make the trip down there to Springfield to all of our Bulldog Nation. If you can't make it, tune in on Inside the Huddle on our Facebook page. So for Coach Derick Heflin, I'm Tom Brown, and we'll see you on the next episode of Inside the Huddle.